other stuff that's not happening will happen.
What about freedom of speech?
That's going to happen.
Freedom of speech on the internet.
And I just want to ask them, you mean the internet where you currently have the freedom to say virtually anything you want? The one place where virtually everyone on Earth has immediate access to a worldwide audience? As you sit in your underpants in your basement and you say anything at all, you mean that internet where a 16-year-old can do anything online and have it seen by the entire world?
Might be true. Maybe. Yeah, but what if the government stepped in and regulated it, though? That would make it really free then.
Wait, we just established that it's already free.
Well, yeah, but when the government gets involved, that's going to make it super mega Doppler free then.
Right. Just like the Telecommunications Act of 1934 did for the telephone. In case you don't know, that act essentially stopped all innovation for telephones for 50 years until all of those regulations finally ended. If you're my age, I'm 51, you remember when that ended. And everyone said, oh my gosh, we won't have telephone communication anymore. We will not. You think your long distance bill is expensive now? You just wait. At least the phones work. Really? And it was messy for the first couple of years. We didn't know exactly how it was going to shake out. And a lot of people said, oh my gosh, look at all this freedom, how messy it is. And then we had the first answering machine. And we had the push button phone. And then we had call waiting. Then we started having the internet.
Then smartphones.
I mean, the last thing you want to do is shove anything into the Telecommunications Act of 1934. Let's have the internet regulated under the Telecommunications Act of 1934. Who's the progressive here?
Yeah, it's the same people who are always complaining about old documents that couldn't have predicted the future. Yet now that we
have the Telecommunications Act of 34.
Yeah, that could have predicted the future. We need to add to it, make it better.
Right.
Okay, well, you guys sound like you're on the side of the evil cable companies like Comcast. What if they decide that they want to squeeze bandwidth down on the companies who use their servers?
That has happened, hasn't it, Stu?
It has happened.
It has happened.
Yeah.
It happened. How many times has it happened?
Well, that one singular time.
How many companies? Once per company?
One company, one site. That is 1/3 of the internet.
And people will have you believe that it's, the massive $1 trillion Tea Party Koch brothers funded company like ExxonMobil that squashed some tiny non-profit community organizers for orphans whose CEO is handicapped, general neutral, African-American pygmy. Mm-hmm. But that's not actually what it was.
No. It was that company. It was the pygmy-run company.
No, it wasn't. It's a battle of one gigantic leftist-led corporation against another. Comcast, who's not exactly the Tea Party, versus Netflix, which isn't exactly Ted Cruz. Guess what? The two of them got together, duked it out, and worked it out. An evil capitalist arrangement. And keep in mind, Netflix is using 33% of all internet bandwidth. One company using 33%, and it turns out takes a lot of bandwidth to stream full-length movies online instantly on your TV, computer, or on your phone on an airplane. I just want to point that out, on your phone on an airplane. That's how bad it is. But somehow these two companies got together, and Netflix agreed to pay Comcast a little bit more to use their pipeline. And once that happened, Netflix speed didn't return to where it was before the dispute. It actually increased above where it was. Can you imagine that? The big bad, $49 billion in revenue Comcast asked the little teeny weeny $6 billion in revenue Netflix to pay a little bit more for using so much of their bandwidth. Shocking. Unfair. It's an affront to freedom of speech. Well, actually, no. Netflix just agreed to the financial transaction, and life on the internet continued. In fact, got better.
It got better. Yeah, that's better. An important part of that. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. After the agreement, net neutrality supporters actually started reporting that Comcast had demanded that Netflix pay them $400 million a year for the service.
$400 million.
When it turned out that was a ridiculous lie, and instead the number agreed to was more like 12 to 25 million, then the net neutrality people said, well,
yeah, that's still not right.
It's not social
justice.
Social justice
not
at all.
Social justice, I'll tell you that.
Why does a company that streams movies to you get? Why are they the beneficiary of this treatment?
Social justice.
Yeah, they are
a $6 billion company.
A $28 billion company as far as market cap.
As far as right.
Yeah, they're a $28 billion company that streams old episodes of TV shows to your. It's a great company and I love the service, but why are they treated like this?
Let me just tell you something. Let me just tell you something. I hate Comcast. I hate them more than poison. I would rather pick up dog poop with my face than spend any time defending Comcast.
Talking a lot about dog poop the last few days.
I know. Yeah. I love Netflix. Hard to imagine life without Netflix. But Netflix uses 33% of Comcast's space. They should have to pay for it, period. That's the way it is. If a 5,000-pound passenger was sitting next to you in the airplane and had to take 33% of all of the seats on the plane, would you want him still to pay for only one ticket? Or would we all go, you know what, they should pay for more than one seat?
Well, Jeffy's an exception to that rule because he does take 33% of the seats on a plane.
Which is why I answered yes, one seat.
By the way, consider how unique Netflix is. It's a company, one-third of the internet bandwidth. So obviously, there can't be more than two other companies like this, and of course there aren't. And this is the case for every internet service provider. Yet only Comcast has done this. All of them have just let it go and done what they do. But only Comcast has been the one that's actually come out and do this for $25 million a year, which is a low price to pay for Netflix to get better service.
This is a bill that has come from the Obama administration and all of the people surrounding them. The free press, that free press is Marxist, MoveOn.org, extreme left-wing, the ACLU, Greenpeace. I'm not making this one up. Lesbians who tech, and more people like that. All leftists, progressives, and Marxists. So do you think maybe there's an extreme, fanatical leftist agenda here? Any chance that the agenda is more freedom?
No.
No, of course not.
No.
It's a Marxist agenda. This happens with the FCC on the 26th. And not only will the door be kicked wide open for billions in new internet taxes, but it will be slammed shut on freedom of speech. You will start to have to take out license to start your own business on the internet, just as they did with radio and TV with the Fairness Doctrine. Progressives are trying desperately to eliminate free speech, which they do not agree with, on the internet. This is critical. This is a fight we must win. Go to glennbeck.com, sign the petition to the FCC, and stop net neutrality. Light up your congressional switchboards. Call them. Tell them. Say no to net neutrality. No ifs, ands, or buts. No to net neutrality. Period. You only have about how many days? 8?
Yeah, 8 days.
8 days before the vote. Do it now.